All right, welcome back to the channel. We're going to be looking at PromptEngine. This has been out for a couple of weeks. Apologize that I wasn't able to get this out earlier, but I'm glad that we're looking at it now. We do have some numbers to look at. They have 28 reviews. They're at a 3.7 out of 5 stars, so it's respectable. Basically, what you're able to do with PromptEngine is type in what you would like in a prompt that you would use in ChatGPT or Claude or Google Gemini or your large language model of choice. And PromptEngine is going to take your idea and make it way better to where you can plug that back into a large language model, get better results. Okay, so I'm going to show you some things that I've done. I actually already did this review, and then unfortunately I had my microphone on mute. So I'm going to go ahead and try to get through this very quickly. I do like the software. I spent a lot more time in the software naturally. The video was 40 minutes long, so I'm not going to do that to you. We're going to try to get through this quickly. I'm just going to go over here and look at the pricing. We've got license tier 1 is $29 and you get 200 prompts per month. License tier 2 is $58. You get 450 prompts per month. So you actually get more than double. And then license tier 3 all in is $87 and you get 1,000 prompts per month. So all 3 tiers are under $100. Really good stuff. It is bootstrapped, a small company, and they've only been around for about 4 months. If you're hoping they've been around for a year or two, this isn't going to be that startup for you. They don't have a public roadmap. I did a pre-score of this in my LTD Compass software, and it did come out with a 7.35, and that's very similar and close to a 3.7. So my software looks at different metrics. It looks like their website traffic, all kinds of stuff. And so it's giving it a nice score as well, an average deal. We're going to jump in real quick and I'm just going to show you some of the stuff. This is one of the most simplistic, minimalistic user interfaces that I've seen in like 12 months, 24 months. I mean, this is as simple as it gets right here. This is what you're looking at, a big white screen with just a couple little options right over here. I almost, in a sense, as we get going, and I'll show you this, I would like them to maybe improve the UI better instead of looking at this little tiny box over here, maybe even make it into a two-phase type thing. So what you're going to do is you have 5 different options over here. You got generate, improve, images, history, and save. Now that I've gone into the software, I can tell you with images, it doesn't actually create image. There is no image generation AI or a tool with this. It is going to create a image prompt for us. Okay. So very clear about that. Now, improving a prompt, we might not even need to go over this one because I've already tested the software and I'm going to tell you right now that you're going to spend all your time in generate. I took one of these right over here that we generated, this first one over here, and I actually copied the prompt and then I went into improve and tried to improve on it and it wasn't able to improve much better. So if you have another prompt that you've created somehow not inside a PromptEngine, then you would put it in here and try to improve on it. Essentially, you could just take that prompt and put it into generate. Improve, you can use it, you can test it out, but I think that generate is the MVP of the tool. That's where you're going to be using it the most. And then images, I was pretty impressed with as well. So we're going to describe what we want over here, and let's just go over here to write. I'm going to go with a real simple, and this is what most people do, is they have a prompt that just says, write a prompt that writes the perfect balanced email that gets people to watch my latest YouTube video, right? Like we don't usually think much more past that about tense and how, writing tone and how write like somebody and very specific things. It's really hard for us to come up with those things, and that's where PromptEngine is going to come in. Now, I do we get to choose between GPT, Claude, Gemini, Llama, and Mistral. Leave a comment below if you made it this far in the video and you know what that is. Tell me who owns that and who's using that. I don't really use Llama or Mistral. I don't even use Gronk from Twitter or X, even though I have a paid account. I don't use that. The big heavy hitters, ChatGPT, Claude, and Gemini, those are the 3 that I use every day in my business for different things. What I would like to see is some transparency from the company of what models they're actually letting us use. Is this GPT the latest model 5.0? Is this 5.0 Nano, which is going to be a lesser version of regular ChatGPT 5? Is this ChatGPT 4.0 Legacy? Is this Claude Sonnet 4.0 or Claude Haiku? Is this Gemini 2.5 Pro Flash? What are we using here? I'd like a little more transparency. What you're going to do is go like this, generate, come in here, and it's going to create a much more in-depth prompt. It's going to give examples of what you want the content to look like, which is really cool. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to take this prompt right over here and you're going to read through it. And if there's anything in here that just is not something that you would like to see, maybe if it's suggesting something, maybe hi recipient's name right there, we want to come back over here and say, hey, don't use a recipient's name, just say hi or hello on the emails. We can do that, right? Essentially, we're going to copy this entire thing. We're going to go into ChatGPT now, and you're going to go into new chat and you're going to paste this in. Now, there was some confusion on my part when I first used this. Now, I'm going to take it for what it is, that this prompt engine, they are creating a pre-prompt for you that you can go in and paste like we are doing in ChatGPT right here. And then you're going to say go. And notice that line at the top is the most important line. It says generate prompt. So create a prompt to guide the large language model in crafting a balanced and engaging email that encourages recipients to watch the latest YouTube video. Okay. That right there is telling us that we're still going to need to create the prompt in another large language model. This is just going to pre-prompt it better. Now, I've got another methodology that you can use if you just want to right off the bat, right out of the gates, create the prompt. This might not make sense. It's kind of hard to explain, but this one sentence changes everything. If you copy that and paste it in here, now see what happens. It's going to email writing prompt. It's going to write the prompt that you're going to use. Grab this prompt that it just created, go into new chat, paste this in, do a return, and say the video URL is, right, for this specific prompt. We need to go and get this, and it does need to be this short URL. And from what I've discovered in ChatGPT, if you use the long URL, it doesn't work half the time. So it needs to be this short URL. Now we've created our prompt, and now it's going to do this. Hi there. We would need to change this. We don't want these headlines like that, right? I just released a YouTube video. It wrote the email. It did a good job, but we would need to fix this prompt. We don't want video introduction, like all that kind of stuff, right? They did a good job. It actually did say David. I didn't put that in there. So that's how that worked. Now, let me just explain to you what you could do if you wanted faster results. You could take the same prompt and go copy, and you could go into ChatGPT over here. You could say new, and you could paste that in, and then that very first part right here, you would just delete it. That create a prompt. Now we're going to literally use this as our prompt, right? We're going to use this as our prompt, and we're going to say video URL is, and we'll go back to our video. Hopefully this is making sense, that there's a couple different ways. The way I'm showing you now is the way I discovered you could use it, because now we're just doing this in one go. We're saying, hey, here's the URL. Here is exactly what I want you to do. And then it's going to create the output for us. So if you just do what they're telling you to do, which is copy this entire thing and put that into Claude, ChatGPT, or Gemini, it's going to be, you're going to be doing three things. You're going to start with a prompt over here, grab this right here, step 2, and go to ChatGPT and paste that in and push enter. So that's step 2. And then you're going to have to open up a new tab and copy the prompt that you just got created, and then finally be on your way. So you can choose how to use it the way that you want. I think that this offers a little bit of a level of confusion right here. I'm not dinging them in any way for this, but I think that this one sentence right here is everything. You do have to, it's like a triple layered approach to writing a prompt, if that all makes sense. Okay. So you could choose Claude, Gemini, all that kind of stuff. The other one that I did was over here. That's kind of how you use the tool. I went in and grabbed this one over here, and I said, generate a prompt. I basically said, write the perfect prompt for a vibe coding LLM to build a marketing landing page that is modern, short, and to the point, and gets people to sign up for my free 20-minute training that teaches them how to make their first $100 with affiliate marketing. Okay. So then it created this prompt here, exactly how to write my landing page. And I took that and I went in to Claude, and we actually went and coded this, and you can go actually see what this actually looks like. You can go in here and look at the code. It coded the heck out of this. We didn't use Sonnet. We actually used Opus 1, which is the most powerful version of Claude for coding and so forth. And so it did all that. This is what it was actually able to create. Boom, right here. This is even clickable. It'll take you down over to here, and you can see this nice landing page that Claude was able to create based on our prompt that we got from PromptEngine, which is super cool. So you got this history over here. You can look at the different things we've done. You can also go to the images section and say, hey, minimalistic, and it's going to start with those, depending on what you click on, that is actually what it's going to specifically tell it what to do. You can describe more in depth what you want your scene to look like, or you can just click that right there. So this overrides the preset. You can go into style, hyper realistic, go into your subjects. And if you click on this, you can't upload. You can just select where you want the subject to be. Then you can go into size. I'm going to go landscape. We can go angle. Let's go eye level on this one. Distance. I'm going to go balanced right there. And lens, we're going to go standard. So you've got this code right here. You can copy this to the clipboard, and then you can also tell it what you want. What I did was go in here to ideogram, and I tried to create some over here as well, but these are the ones that I really created from that prompt. Earlier, I said, make 100 fast or something like that, and I said, put a man in the middle and all that kind of stuff. It created this one right here. It created this one right here. This one was almost perfect. It just messed up the 1000 and stuff, but I like the text really bold, and that's what I said for it to do. One thing under history is that I'm not seeing where there's the email. It doesn't save the image prompts that you create. Yeah, it doesn't save image prompts in the history. It only saves generate and improve. But we essentially had this prompt over here. We were able to get this image right here, which unfortunately we weren't able to get in 16:9 YouTube thumbnail format, but it did create this really good, make 1000 fast, very hyper realistic, looks really good. Let me know what images you think it created better between this one right here. The prompt that we had was right here. I said, the scene is make a YouTube thumbnail with a man in shock about how much money they are making. And there should be bold white text with shadow from far to left to right, make 1000 fast. It pretty much did exactly what we said. The guy's in shock, there's money, and make 1000 fast from left to right. It did follow this instructions great. It just didn't create the size of image. So then we come back over here, the same exact prompt that we used is up here. You can see the scene is where you're really going to put your main changeable stuff in your image. And then it created everything else right there. And then boom, we got these images. So this is ideogram. These are the images it created. I think this one would be good to go. Eyes are a little weird right there, but this one would be good to go. The text is a little too far over there. Probably wouldn't use that one. This one was almost good except for a messed up eye right there and the back of the laptop. So probably wouldn't use that one as well. This one was almost perfect, but make 1000 fast. So we would need to edit this one. This one actually turned out the best, but still not usable. And then this one, make 1000 fast, is actually usable, but still probably not my favorite. And then we had this one over here. So in the comments below, tell me if you think Gemini did a better image job from the PromptEngine's image prompt, or if you think ideogram, just type that in below as well. Just curious, kind of a fun little poll for you guys. So that's essentially the tool. You get your history, you've got your saved. Come over here, go into history, maybe go find this one. Okay, so there's a save button right there. You can save that, and then you can go into your saved. Did it save? I'm not seeing it in the saved area. So let's go back over here real quick into history, open one up, and I'm going to push the save button, and it says it's saved. We'll come back over here and nothing. So I just found a bug, guys. It is not saving in the saved prompts area. I'm going to have to dock them a little bit for that because I got to be honest with you. I already did the video. I gave them a 4.2. That's a little bit of a bug right there. I'm going to shave off just a little bit. But I will say that I really liked the tool a lot. I think that I could use this a lot. The generate feature right over here and just coming up with better organized prompts that we could place into our large language model of choice, Gemini, Claude, ChatGPT, and then have it create a better prompt for us. It helps you get thinking and seeing in front of you like, oh, I would change this now. I would change that, right? So you can really get a good prompt. And who I think this is best for is if you're building out GPTs that you're giving away as bonuses, or you're trying to sell, or you are trying to build web apps and you want really good prompts. I think that this is really good for people to actually do care about their prompts. I think that you could get really good use out of this. Now, theoretically, could you go into Claude or a ChatGPT and say, hey, here's my idea. Can you write a way better prompt for this? You probably could do that. Could you go to ChatGPT and find a GPT that specializes in creating good prompts? Probably. But is PromptEngine pretty good? It will get you there and has some uniqueness about the image images and the generate feature, sure. I think it's a nice little dashboard that we can use. Overall, I was pretty impressed with this tool. What do you guys think? Leave a comment below if you watched the whole thing. There will be a link below if you want to help support the channel and you think PromptEngine is worth picking up. I think tier 1 is a really good option. I don't think you'll be using more than 200 credits per month. You get 200 prompts per month. Unless you're a prompt engineer full-time, you probably don't need tier 2 or tier 3. So link below, go pick it up. I'm going to give it a final score of 4.1 out of 5. Pretty solid tool. Thanks for joining me.